Confident everybody, welcome back to the link. It is about 9:30 in the morning, and as we wind down our show, we're heading into our Zoom room to talk to Mr. Matthew Quinata. He's 56 years old. He spent the past
221 days in the Guam Memorial Hospital fighting COVID-19. Mr. Quinata, welcome to the link. Good morning. Yeah, Mr. Quinata, he cannot really talk. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, we certainly thank you. We know you're still kind of recovering, but how are you feeling, and how does it feel to finally be out of GMH?
It's great. Family.
And tell us, I guess, if you could, share your experience, and what exactly happened, because 221 days, it's quite a long time.
Went in for
We're going to bring in
Hi, Bobby.
Hi.
Good morning. And so Mr. Quinata, he's got a tracheotomy, right? Because obviously he was in for 221 days fighting the coronavirus, so he can't really speak. And when he takes, is that feeding oxygen into him, Bobby?
It's yes, but it's basically like room air, kind of.
Okay.
But his trach, if they cap it, if he puts his finger over the trach, he can speak.
I see.
But it's difficult.
He's having a hard time.
Yeah.
But he's having a hard time today.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Well, we're glad to see that he's out of the hospital, Bobby. This must have been quite an ordeal for you and the family as well.
Yes. But it wasn't so hard going up there, supporting him, doing what we can to help him as his part of his support team. We were more worried about his health and when is he going to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what our goal was, to get him well enough to come home.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to Michael, right, about
Yes.
Matthew, and he was mentioning that Matthew was in a coma. Is that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When he went in November, he actually checked himself into Bayview because he had other health issues other than he was already afraid that he was going to get COVID, but he was feeling the symptoms. So he checked himself in, and on the third day, the nurse at Bayview said they were going to take him by ambulance to the hospital. So when he got there on the 27th, he was immediately admitted on the 28th into ICU. And then from that point on, probably about a day later, he went into a coma. He was like he went into an induced coma.
Right.
He was like so out of it. And then, and that's how then they put him on a ventilator. And then he was on a ventilator for a while. And then they just decided to put him on a trach.
How long was he in a coma for, Bobby?
2 months.
2 months. Matthew, can you tell us, do you remember anything from when you were in that medically induced coma?
He said very little.
Bobby, I'm sure, I know you follow the news. I believe there was only one other patient who went on the ventilator and came out of it alive. Right. So was there any point during Matthew's hospitalization where you guys thought maybe you wouldn't see him again?
Yes, on December 14th, one of his doctors called Mike. And Mike was already on his way home after work. And so Mike had to pull over in Georgia somewhere. And the doctor told him that you need to call your family members because Matthew might not make it 24 hours. So Mike told him, goes, I'm on my way home. It's going to take me about 30, 40 minutes to get to Inaraha. And he goes, no, call your family members now. He may not even last the 40 minutes. So we were online. There was like 80, 85 people online on Zoom. And we prayed. We spoke to him about things that we would normally do with him. I mean, we were talking way past 6 o'clock the following morning. And then when, as the day progressed, you know, we got news that Matthew's still hanging on. 2 days later, same news. A week later, same news. And we said, come on, we were praying to God to just keep him going, keep fighting. It was a faith in God that kept Matthew up and running.
All over the world, his friends.
You also
What
got
was that?
prayers from his friends around the world, Bobby?
Yes.
Be a day.
So popular.
Yeah. Matthew, how did it, if you could, I mean, in short answers, but how did it feel when they wheeled you out of that hospital yesterday? That was just such an emotional scene.
He said it was awesome.
And maybe if he had any message maybe to the healthcare workers, the doctors, everybody that, you know, helped him, is there anything that he would like to say to them?
He said, thank you very much. Very, very much.
Very professional. They treated me very well.
Okay. Sorry about that, Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby, you know, we wanted to ask, so in
You're fine.
finding out about Matthew's story, there was a lot of work that he had to do to reach a point where he was well enough to be released, right?
Yes.
But that means you're a fighter, Matthew, right? Because you had to do, physical therapy and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Staff at the GMH was awesome. Great. They're great people. You don't have friends also. With the nurses, the physical therapy team.
So you
Good job.
thank the
Yeah.
physical therapy team there.
Mhm.
Said a good job. Bobby, we know that even people who aren't hospitalized with COVID for as long as Matthew was struggle with the after effects of the virus. For example, Mayor Gogui, we know, I think up to pretty recently was still going around with an oxygen tank. What are the long term effects that Matthew is dealing with, and does he still have work to do to kind of get back to a normal that's acceptable for a good quality of life for him and you guys?
Yes. What COVID does is, obviously COVID attacks every cell in your body. But what it comes down to, it also attacks the lungs, and your lungs are like, you have to start all over. You got to reteach yourself how to breathe, how to inhale and exhale. And what's happening with COVID patients is, even with those who have gotten over COVID, but they will always have some breathing issues. They just have to rebuild their lungs and strengthen it. So Matthew's got a long road ahead of him. He's healing, but he knows that his lungs are weak. Yeah. Yeah. His weak immune system is all COVID related.
Mm.
You know, there may be people who are watching this interview, maybe watching it a little later today, the playback of this. And, you know, we're still trying to get people vaccinated against COVID. We're still, you know, not clearly out of the woods yet. And maybe just a message to people who may be watching or streaming in terms of being careful.
Yes, Matthew's related. He's living proof that people need to get vaccinated. You know, there's everybody. I know, I understand. Everybody is so thankful that he's alive and well, on the well road to recovery. But it doesn't pay. It doesn't. There's 2 seconds or even 5 minutes out of your busy schedule. Go get vaccinated. And then follow up with the second one. Being vaccinated may not be the answer to a cure, but it is an answer to better health and to save someone's life if it's not for you.
Well, we thank you for taking time. We don't want to take up too much of your time.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you're going to eat breakfast.
Thank you so much for joining us, Matt and Bobby. And I thought I saw Michael somewhere.
I did, yeah.
There.
In a Lahan
Yeah,
strong.
you did. He peeked in a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
God bless.
Thank
God
you.
bless you, Matthew. Okay, sir. Esta. Bye, Bobby.
Bye.
We got to get him on maybe a little bit more down the road. And he just got out of the hospital.
Yeah.
That's such a cool story.
I know.
And it's kind of like the second story. There was very similar. Remember, there was it was a gentleman, right, who was released last year who had been in GMH for, I want to say, a few months, and they did a similar video where he came out and the wife greeted him, and it was just like, and you know, so good stuff. And our continued prayers for Matthew and his family, and for everybody that this virus has touched. We're going to take a quick break at 9:43 right here on the link. We're brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box on this Friday morning.
Looking for TV schedule?
Get through the work week with a special office party from Uno Go and participating restaurants. Every week, we're delivering lunch from a local dining partner to one lucky office.